Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Arianne and I love all things DIY and craft. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you stay updated every time I post a new video. For this video, I wanted to show you my 2 weekly spreads for the last 2 weeks of June. I previously posted videos once a week, so the weekly spread, one per week, but I thought it's probably better just to do more in one video and just shorten the actual overview section because some of it can be quite repetitive and the videos were getting quite long. So I've just put 2 in one, and then next time I'll put all 4 in one. So for this week's spread, or well, I suppose it's next week's spread, but for the spread we're working on right now, I wanted to continue that space theme. If you haven't watched my first bullet journal video, watch that and you'll see that I do a space theme for the month of June, and this spread is no different. It is incorporating the dots that I used at the beginning of the month, but also incorporating block black color, which is something that I wanted to add a bit more of. So I've put satin in the top corner, and then I'm just using dots to accentuate that, and using block black just to do the highlights or the dark shading, and then using dots just to grow out from that, just so I didn't have to do too many dots and it was less repetitive this way and took less time. But just doing dots to darken it up, and then doing like shadows and making sure that the dots go around the little objects or the gas rings on satin, and around the satin's ring I've just got lots of dots through the middle and all the way around the ring, and this gives it a nice effect. And then just doing little wispy dots to just do some lines where it would be a different color and just accentuate satin. For the surrounding space area, I just did flat black all over. I pre-drew everything in pencil and then just outlined it and then colored everything black, and I'm using masking tape as I have every other spread to make it so that it doesn't go over and I don't have to be too careful when I'm doing my lines. But basically, when it comes to doing the asteroids or any of the shooting stars, just doing a lot of dots at the bottom and between the lines that would signify different sparks of fire, just to make it look less flat. I also did a couple of dots in the center of the object, so like the circle objects, which would be space objects like, I don't know, satellites, faraway satellites, or stars, or whatever, asteroids. So just doing a couple of dots in there, but breaking up where there is fire around it, just doing dots right next to where the flat black line is, so it didn't look too, I suppose, flat. I don't know. Anyway, and then for the side with the Dutch doors, I've done a similar concept with the black and asteroids and stars. And here we've got a different planet. I don't know what planet it is. It's just a planet. Using the dotting effect to create the either craters or the gas circles or whatever you want to call it. And doing the same thing that I did with Saturn at the top, with wisping out these little lines of dots and just making it a little bit more interesting and a bit more three-dimensional. And this is what I mean about the flames of the asteroids. I'm just doing dots just next to where there is the flat black line, and then between where the flames would be, and it just makes it a bit more interesting. And because I like to use Dutch doors, I just cut it straight across this one. This one's really simple. I didn't have to use an X-Acto knife. The layout for my weekly spread is exactly the same as it has been. I don't know whether I'm going to change up and do a different one each week, just so I can get a feel for what I like and what works well and what doesn't work well. This has been good, but there might be a better way. So I think I might do 4 separate weekly spreads next month, and then try different orientations and layouts. So as I've done before, I'm writing everything in a fine black liner, and then just doing a box around the days and the date, and doing a yellow drop shadow. On the running list, I have done using a brush pen Everything I use will be listed down below, so you can get similar items if you want it. And this just has a drop shadow as well. One thing I haven't incorporated or shown in this spread is writing down the time of day, so doing a schedule for every day, just because I'm testing this out at the moment on my current weekly spread and seeing if I like it, and then I might add this just to give me a bit more structure to the day. So this next week's layout is still the same idea, but for the Dutch doors I wanted to use a simpler format, something that wasn't as time consuming to create. And I wanted to also incorporate the phases of the moon, because I like phases of the moon in imagery. I think it's quite nice to look at. I don't know why, but I just like it, so I wanted to incorporate it. So this is a very minimalist and simple black and white version of doing the moon phases. So I've just got 4 circles down the side here where I'm going to cut around and create the Dutch door, and I'm doing white and black bits. So I've got the top, the total eclipse, I suppose, because it's white, so that wouldn't be the moon, that would just be the sky. And then the black sections are the moon. So we've got a crescent, a half moon, and then I don't know what they're all called, so sorry about that. But just colouring in the black pieces with the same pen I've been using, the Faber-Castell SC pen, which I love. It is my favourite. And just to add some detailing to the black section, I'm using the Signo gel liner, and I'll link that down below, so if you do want it you can use it. I had to do the dots and the stars a little bit bigger than I did on the black and white section, just because the gel was a bit runnier, so you can see the stars are a bit more full, I suppose. So this side I was playing around with this idea of doing like a moon and then a black silhouette with yellow stars around the moon. So I've just drawn it out with a pencil, and then I'm just colouring it in with black. But after a couple of days I realised I don't like it, so I did actually change it, and you'll see that happening later. But at the moment we're just working on my initial plan and colouring it all in with black, and then I'll colour it in with yellow, all the stars. But like I said, I just didn't like it. It wasn't working for me. I just felt like it didn't go with the other page. So this is me changing up. I wanted to do like a crescent moon surrounded by clouds, and then I wanted to put a quote like I did for my previous video, so check that out if you haven't already. And because I'd already drawn everything in with pencil, I'm just colouring it in to the shape of the object, so that when I then come through with the silver gel pen, that I can still see the outline on the objects, because it's a different shade and you can see the direction of the pen. So I'm just drawing that in, and the moon with the clouds going around it. I did have a think about whether I wanted to cover these stars or keep them in. In the end I decided to take them out because they just weren't working for me. I just felt like it didn't go with the theme of the other side with the Dutch doors, and I wanted it to look like it goes together. So I just incorporated the same idea with the silver stars and dots that I did on the other page. On the reverse side of the Dutch doors I copied the image again, but where it was white it is now black, so it is the opposite. And I'm just referring back just to make sure I'm doing it right, because you can't really change it once you've done this much, I suppose. So I was just referring back, making sure that I was doing it correctly, but just do everything reverse. So where there's black you put the silver on top with the stars and the little dots. Then on the white section just dots, small and a slightly larger dots, and that really is it for the Dutch doors. These were so simple and easy, and they were a lot quicker than the previous versions, which is what I wanted, because I spent so long on some of the spreads. I just wanted to make it a bit quicker and just have them done, and I really like the overall look of it. It's quite minimal and nice, and it's not too distracting, so I do like it. And I might do something similar again with the black and silver, and I've also got a gold pen, so I might use them more often. The only problem is that they take ages to dry, and they're quite thick, so you can smudge it quite easily, which I did do a little bit when I first started using them because I didn't realize they weren't dry yet. So just be careful with that. So I'm using my X-Acto knife again, and because I don't have a cutting board, I'm just using a piece of cardboard so it doesn't go through the page before, and I'm just cutting around the moon phases shape, and then just writing in the days of the week and the month. Oh no, I'm not, sorry. Take it back. I'm now adding the quote. So I wrote this out in pencil. I tried a few different orientations until I was happy, and then I just went with a very simple font and just wrote, "To people who look up to the stars and wish," because I just thought it was cute and it reminded me of Pinocchio when he looks up to the sky and makes a wish. So I wrote that in, very simple, and then just rubbed out the writing and the pencil markings, which I'd done just to make sure that I was happy with the overall look. And then just writing in the days of the week and the date, like I did with everything else, keeping it all looking the same for the whole month, and then just filling in the boxes and doing a drop shadow in yellow. So everything has a consistent look the whole way through the month. And then, of course, not forgetting the running list on the back page, which I find really useful. I have slightly changed how I display them. I've not shown you in any videos, but if you go onto my Instagram, happyasme bojo, you will see how I use the running list and how I've changed it slightly. It just looks better and it's easier to track what you have done or haven't done, because sometimes it can be quite difficult if you have it too far, because you put whether they complete underneath the dates, not next to the task. So it's quite difficult to see what tasks you have outstanding. So I have changed that. So go look at my Instagram if you want to see how I use my running list or how I've changed it. But again, everything is the same as the previous month. I'm just doing the Monday to Sunday in the box with a drop shadow and the to-do list with a yellow drop shadow, and I used a brush pen. And then this is just the flip through, so you can see what it looks like, the 2 weeks with the Dutch doors, and they've all got their own little look. So I hope you like it. If you did, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you get updated every time I post a video. And I will see you guys very soon with some more DIYs and bullet journal videos.